Most people do not stay poor because they are unintelligent, undisciplined, or lacking ability. They remain poor because they are positioned incorrectly within the marketplace of value. Their core vulnerability is not incompetence. It is unrestricted accessibility. They are easy to contact, easy to extract effort from, easy to overlook, and easy to substitute. And the world, without cruelty or remorse, assigns value accordingly. Markets do not reward effort. They reward leverage. They do not reward morality. They reward scarcity. This is not bitterness. It is mechanics. Anything that can be accessed without resistance loses perceived worth. Anything that can be summoned instantly fades into background noise. And anyone who offers themselves without limits conditions the world to treat them as a utility rather than an asset. Poverty, at its deepest level, is not the lack of money. It is the lack of control over access to oneself. People often confuse generosity with value creation. They assume that the more they give, the more they will be respected. This belief is not virtuous, it is naive. Appreciation does not convert into compensation. Gratitude does not convert into power. The world does not pay for kindness, it pays for what it cannot afford to lose. Availability is the quiet destroyer of wealth. When you respond instantly to every message, you signal that your time has no competing demand. When you accept every opportunity, you signal that your standards are flexible. When you repeatedly justify yourself, you signal weakness. None of this is processed consciously. It is absorbed subconsciously and priced into how others treat you. People do not disrespect you because they are malicious. They do so because your behavior indicates that disrespect carries no cost. This is where power is misunderstood. Power is not aggression, dominance, or constant visibility. Power begins with withdrawal, the capacity to not show up, the capacity to delay, the capacity to let silence work in your favor. In every hierarchy, economic, political, social, the individual who can be absent without consequence is the one whose presence carries weight. The poor are everywhere. The powerful are selective. Scarcity is not produced by hiding. It is produced by removing frictionless access. There is a difference. Isolation weakens. Selective presence strengthens. The poor disappear because no one notices. The powerful disappear, and the system pauses, waiting. That distinction is the foundation of wealth. Across courts, corporations, and markets, real influence does not belong to those who work the hardest. It belongs to those whose participation is optional yet impactful. They decline without apology. They walk away without fear. They wait without anxiety. And because they can wait, others recalibrate around them. Money follows that recalibration. The person who is always available is always negotiable, and what is negotiable is always discounted. This is why capable, intelligent people remain underpaid while mediocre individuals accumulate wealth. The capable tie their identity to contribution. They feel guilt when they withhold. They believe visibility creates opportunity. The mediocre understand a harsher truth. Value is not inherent, it is framed, and framing begins with access. When you make yourself available without cost, you destroy your leverage. When you appear too quickly, too frequently, too eagerly, you teach the market that your absence is irrelevant, and if your absence has no impact, your presence has no price. The economy does not ask whether this is fair. It simply responds. Poverty is often mislabeled as a financial problem when it is actually a positional one. You are standing in the wrong place in the game, too close to demand, too eager to serve it, too exposed to its volatility. Wealth is created through distance. Distance creates perspective. Perspective creates authority. Authority creates pricing power. Those at the top are insulated not out of arrogance, but because insulation preserves value. They protect their time, energy, and attention with precision. Not every message deserves a reply. Not every opportunity deserves consideration. Not every request deserves acknowledgement. The poor react. The wealthy choose. Choice is the first signal of dominance. Most people fear this shift because they equate withdrawal with disappearance. They believe that stepping back means being forgotten. That fear is valid for those with nothing distinct to offer. But for those with real capability, withdrawal has the opposite effect. It creates tension. It generates curiosity. It forces attention toward the absence and demands an explanation. Absence, when supported by substance, increases demand. The mistake most people make is attempting to raise their price without altering their posture. They want higher compensation while remaining fully accessible. This never succeeds. Price is not a number. It is a behavioral signal, and behavior always overrides claims. You cannot declare yourself valuable while acting disposable. Exiting poverty begins with a ruthless audit of availability. Where are you overexposed? Who has unrestricted access to you? Which environments dilute value instead of concentrating it? Every unnecessary meeting, every unfiltered exchange, every reflexive response creates a small structural leak. Individually, they seem trivial. Collectively, they guarantee stagnation. Wealth requires friction. It requires barriers. It requires others to encounter slight resistance before accessing you. Not hostility, just enough resistance to signal that your time is not free, your attention is finite, and your presence is not guaranteed. That res-I stance recalibrates perception, and the moment unnecessary availability is reduced, discomfort appears. People push back. That pushback is the signal that leverage is returning. They challenge it, they probe it, they apply pressure. This is not rejection, it is confirmation. The system is testing whether your boundary has substance or whether it is merely decorative. Most people fail this moment. They collapse under tension and revert to familiar behavior, reinforcing their original low valuation. Those who tolerate the discomfort cross into a different tier. At that point, the interaction changes. People stop demanding, they begin requesting. Their communication shortens, their tone sharpens. They arrive prepared. Preparation is the clearest indicator that value has been assigned. This moment marks the unseen divide between poverty and leverage. This is not arrogance. Arrogance is insecurity pretending to be strength. This is structure. It is alignment with the underlying economic laws that govern attention, desire, and valuation. Gold does not justify itself. It does not chase interest. It is extracted with effort because scarcity demands effort. If your presence is inexpensive, your output will be priced cheaply regardless of quality. The first movement toward wealth is not accumulation, but removal. Removing yourself from environments that contradict your intended value. Restricting access that has become habitual. Reclaiming the right to be unreachable. Until this shift occurs, no skill, strategy, or effort can compensate for the structural flaw. You are not poor because you lack something. You are poor because you are too easy to consume. And until that changes, the market will continue to classify you as it always has: available, replaceable, and discounted. Scarcity is power. It is the quiet mechanism the wealthy activate without announcement. Once availability is reduced, another force immediately asserts itself: scarcity. Scarcity is not a tactic. It is not manipulation. It is not branding. It is a biological and psychological law that governs how humans assign value, attention, and respect. The human mind does not crave what is abundant. It is drawn to what is limited, delayed, and difficult to obtain. This instinct existed long before money or markets. Scarcity once signaled survival. What was rare mattered, what was common did not. That wiring still controls modern economics. Wealth flows toward those who understand and regulate this mechanism. The poor attempt to raise value by adding more effort, more hours, more explanations, more exposure. The wealthy do the inverse. They reduce access, they compress exposure. They concentrate impact. They do not become valuable by doing more. They become valuable by being difficult to reach and impossible to replace. Scarcity separates busyness from power. In every industry, the highest compensated individuals are not the most accessible. They are the most constrained. Their schedules are RDD. Their attention is filtered. Their availability is conditional. This is not ego, it is leverage. When access is limited, behavior adjusts. People prepare, they listen, they waste less time. Scarcity forces seriousness. Abundance invites negligence. This is why free is dangerous. What costs nothing is consumed casually and discarded quickly. What requires time, effort, patience, or money is respected. The cost itself becomes evidence of value before results appear. This is why paid advice carries more authority than free insight, even when the information overlaps. Payment alters posture. Scarcity alters perception. Those who remain poor often sabotage themselves at this stage. They believe giving more will generate loyalty. In reality, it creates dependence without respect. Loyalty is not born from generosity. It is born from selective access. When people feel chosen rather than accommodated, their behavior changes. Scarcity creates hierarchy. Hierarchy is unavoidable. Every system produces it. The only variable is position. Scarcity elevates, abundance lowers. The individual who is always present sinks toward the bottom regardless of skill. The wealthy understand that scarcity must operate on multiple layers simultaneously. First, scarcity of time. If your time is endlessly available, it carries no economic weight. Time gains value only when it competes with other priorities. The wealthy protect their time not because they are busy, but because time scarcity creates authority. When others know your time is limited, their demands recalibrate. Second, scarcity of attention. Attention exceeds time in value. You can give time while withholding engagement. The wealthy do not distribute full attention freely. They choose where it lands. This creates psychological gravity. When attention is rare, people lean in. Third, scarcity of decision-making. The most valuable individuals are not executors, they are outcome shapers. Decision scarcity accelerates wealth. When your approval, judgment, or direction becomes a bottleneck, value accumulates around you. This is why strategists, executives, and power brokers command disproportionate rewards. They are not working harder. They are controlling direction. Scarcity transforms presence into an event. Rare, decisive appearances carry weight. Constant presence dissolves into noise. The modern world is saturated with noise. Visibility has never been cheaper. Authority has never been rarer. Most confuse visibility with relevance. They believe frequent exposure equals importance. In reality, constant exposure destroys mystery. Mystery is a component of power. When everything about you is known, projection collapses. Projection is how humans assign value beyond proof. It is why luxury sells identity rather than materials. It is why powerful individuals reveal little and imply much. The unknown expands perception. The known is limited. Those who remain scarce force others to fill the gaps. And the mind always overestimates what it cannot fully access. This is not deception. It is positioning. Many attempt to imitate scarcity without substance. This fails quickly. Artificial scarcity breaks under pressure. Real scarcity holds because it is supported by real capability and real alternatives. You cannot be scarce if you need everyone. Scarcity requires independence. This is why desperation destroys leverage. The moment you need the deal, it is sensed. The moment you need approval, it is felt. Neediness neutralizes distance and exposes weakness. The wealthy structure their lives to minimize visible need long before wealth arrives. This is where discipline replaces motivation. Scarcity demands restraint. It requires tolerating silence. It requires accepting short-term loss to secure long-term dominance. Most fail here. They cannot endure waiting. They lower standards to soothe anxiety and reset their value downward. Scarcity only functions when it is maintained under pressure. Declining a mediocre offer creates immediate discomfort but permanent leverage. Accepting it brings temporary relief and long-term dependence. The wealthy consistently choose the former. They understand that leverage compounds like interest. Markets reward patience more than effort. The one who can wait controls tempo. The one who controls tempo controls negotiation. The one who controls negotiation controls price. Scarcity enables waiting without panic. This is why the wealthy rarely rush. Urgency belongs to those without options. Calm belongs to those with leverage. Wealth requires engineered conditions. Situations where immediate action is unnecessary, where silence does not harm, where absence increases demand instead of eliminating it. This does not occur by accident. Your environment must support scarcity. Your relationships must respect it. Your habits must reinforce it. If everyone can reach you, you are not scarce. If anyone can hire you, you are not scarce. If every request receives a response, you are not scarce. Scarcity begins the moment you accept that access is not a right. This realization is uncomfortable because it conflicts with social conditioning. You are trained to be polite, responsive, accommodating. These traits are socially rewarded and economically punished. Wealth does not respond to politeness. It responds to constraint. The wealthy do not apologize for limitation. They understand that limitation is the source of power. Scarcity is not cruelty. It is self-preservation. When energy, attention, and decision-making are conserved, they concentrate. Concentration creates intensity. Intensity commands respect. Respect attracts money. This is the invisible sequence. Most people break it immediately. They overextend. They overexpose. They overgive. Then they wonder why nothing accumulates. Wealth is accumulation. Accumulation requires containment. Containment requires boundaries. Boundaries create scarcity. And scarcity, when paired with substance, NCE becomes power. Until scarcity is established, nothing else matters. No pricing model, no branding, no negotiation technique can override unlimited access. The market only pays premiums for what it cannot freely consume. Scarcity is the lever. Pull it correctly and the system shifts. Fail to pull it, and you remain busy, visible, exhausted, and poor. Price without explanation. That is the rule that separates power from poverty. The instant you justify your price, leverage is gone. Justification is not clarification. It is surrender. It signals unconsciously that your value is debatable, your footing unstable, and your position dependent on approval rather than authority. In every hierarchy, economic, social, political, the one explaining stands below the one deciding. This is a reality the wealthy internalize early and most never grasp. Price is not defended, price is enforced. Gold does not argue for its cost relative to iron. It does not present features or plead its case. It exists as scarce and uncontested. Those who cannot afford it remove themselves. Those who can adjust to it. That is authority in practice. The poor reverse this logic. They attempt persuasion, they over-explain, they justify, they defend, they construct elaborate stories about effort, intention, background, and morality. None of it matters. Markets do not compensate narratives, they compensate position, and price is position. The moment you explain your price, you present yourself as optional. You invite comparison. You open the door to negotiation. The other side stops asking whether it is worth paying and starts asking how much they can reduce it. At that point, value is no longer being exchanged. Insecurity is being auctioned. This is why so many remain stuck in the middle. They believe pricing is about fairness. It is not. Pricing is about leverage imbalance. Whoever needs the deal less dictates the terms. Whoever needs it more pays with margin, dignity, and long-term positioning. Wealth begins when urgency disappears. The person who can walk away without emotional disturbance holds power, not through aggression but through independence. Independence is the real currency. Money follows it. The wealthy do not rush to close. They allow indecision to create pressure on the other side. Silence becomes a tool. Delay becomes a filter. Those unable to tolerate uncertainty exit. Those who remain demonstrate seriousness. This is not manipulation, it is selection. Selection is how power protects itself. The wealthy are not attempting to accommodate everyone, they are eliminating mismatch. Price is the most efficient elimination mechanism ever created. Low prices attract low commitment participants. High prices attract those with something to protect. This is not elitism, it is pattern recognition. When someone pays a meaningful price, their posture changes. They listen differently, they act differently. They respect the exchange. When they pay little, they behave casually, critically, and extractively. Cheap access produces cheap behavior. This is why free erodes value. Free advice is ignored. Free labor is exploited. Free access breeds entitlement. The wealthy understand this and apply it deliberately. They do not distribute their core value freely. They sample, they signal, they imply, but they never fully deliver without cost. Cost shapes posture. Posture determines outcome. Those who remain poor often believe underpricing is moral. In reality, it conditions the market to treat them as disposable. Morality offers no protection in economic systems. Structure does. The moment you lower your price to be selected, you signal fear of exclusion over fear of irrelevance. That signal is instantaneous. It brands you. Markets remember, reputation compounds. Once you are known as negotiable, every future interaction begins from a weaker position. Discounts are expected, concessions are demanded, interchangeability is assumed. Not because people are malicious, but because your behavior authorized it. The wealthy prevent this from the start. They establish boundaries before the first transaction. They define terms without apology. They do not explain why their standards exist. Standards that require justification are not standards, they are preferences, and preferences are overridden. A rule is only a rule if it holds under pressure. The wealthy design rules they can maintain through discomfort. They accept short-term loss to preserve long-term position. They understand that one compromised deal can poison 10 future ones by resetting perception. This is why they reject quickly. Rejection is not arrogance, it is calibration. It communicates self-respect internally and externally. Each refusal reinforces identity. Identity precedes income. People believe wealth reshapes mindset. In reality, mindset constructs wealth. The decisive break between poverty and power occurs when you stop needing to be chosen. When offers are no longer opportunities but alignment tests. Does this elevate position or dilute it? Does it reinforce scarcity or destroy it? Does it respect structure or violate it? If the answer is no, the response is refusal or silence, not negotiation. Negotiation implies mutual dependence. Power implies optionality. This is why the truly wealthy often appear cold. They are not emotional, they are consistent. Their price does not fluctuate based on comfort or discomfort. Discomfort is not an economic argument. The poor fear being seen as difficult. The wealthy understand difficulty filters out those who should never have access. Ease belongs to commodities. Resistance belongs to assets. You cannot be universally liked and highly compensated. The system does not permit it. Approval and leverage occupy opposite ends of the same spectrum. Choosing one sacrifices the other. Those who make themselves expensive choose leverage. They speak less. They commit selectively. They do not perform effort. They present outsee. Ohms. They do not chase validation. They allow scarcity to work on their behalf. This posture terrifies most people because it requires standing alone. It requires tolerating misinterpretation. It requires being misunderstood without correcting the story. This is where most collapse. They rush to soften, to justify, to explain, and in doing so, they dismantle their own price. Power does not argue. Power does not defend. Power does not over-communicate. Power sets conditions and assigns weight. If conditions are unmet, power exits. This is not drama. It is discipline. The wealthy understand that every compromised standard accrues interest. That interest appears later as resentment, exhaustion, and stagnation. Protecting price protects energy. Protecting energy preserves clarity. Clarity enables superior decisions. And superior decisions compound faster than effort ever will. Price without explanation is not arrogance. It is coherence between self-perception and behavior. When those align, the market adjusts. When they do not, the market exploits the gap. This cannot be faked. Inconsistency is detected immediately. If you believe you are replaceable, you will behave in ways that confirm it. If you accept that your presence carries weight, structure emerges naturally without theatrics. This is the inflection point. When you stop explaining, stop discounting, stop chasing, and stop negotiating from need, something shifts. You are no longer asking the market to value you. You are allowing it to reveal who can afford you. Most will leave. That is the cost of power. Those who remain will pay not only with money, but with respect, preparation, and seriousness. That is where wealth begins to condense. Not when you are understood, but when you are unavailable for compromise. Wealth is built by removal, not addition. Most attempt to become wealthy by accumulating more: clients, projects, connections, activity. This instinct feels logical, but it is precisely what traps them. Wealth is not created by accumulation alone. It is created through elimination. Until you learn to cut what devalues you, nothing you add will compound. The wealthy do not grow by expansion first. They grow by subtraction. They grow through pruning. Every low-quality agreement you accept conditions the market to classify you as low value. Every relationship that extracts without reciprocating corrodes your internal leverage. Every obligation you tolerate out of fear silently downgrades your identity. These are not ethical shortcomings. They are strategic miscalculations. Poverty endures because people refuse to cut. They keep weak clients because they fear empty calendars. They maintain fragile alliances because they fear isolation. They tolerate disrespect because they fear confrontation. In doing so, they exchange long-term power for short-term comfort. Comfort is costly. It charges interest against your future. The wealthy understand that loss is a tool, not a tragedy. Endy. A bad deal is not losing money. It is purchasing leverage. Severing a draining relationship is not loneliness. It is energy recovery. Reducing unnecessary exposure is not invisibility. It is repositioning. Every cut sharpens structure. Machiavellian thinking does not ask what can be gained. It asks what must be removed to restore dominance. Power is not delicate. It does not crumble when pressure is applied. Weak structures collapse when something is removed. Strong structures become clearer. Most people are surrounded by forces that keep them small, low-paying clients who demand high emotional output, opportunities that require constant justification, social circles that normalize mediocrity, routines that fragment attention. None of these are neutral. They apply downward pressure on valuation. The longer they are tolerated, the more natural they feel. Eventually, survival is mistaken for success. The wealthy reject this normalization. They audit constantly, not periodically. Every association is evaluated by a single criterion. Does this raise or lower my position? Not emotionally, structurally. If it lowers position, it is removed. This is where sentimentality becomes dangerous. Sentimentality traps people in sunk costs. I have invested too much to walk away. This belief locks individuals into failed businesses, failed relationships, failed identities. Markets do not reward loyalty to failure. They reward decisiveness. Sunk costs are dead weight. The wealthy do not see carry dead weight forward. They cut cleanly. They move on. They do not seek closure. They seek clarity. Clarity restores momentum. One bad deal tolerated out of fear invites 10 more. One boundary crossed teaches others that all boundaries are negotiable. Once flexibility is detected, pressure escalates. Markets test limits. If you do not enforce them, the system will impose its demands on you. There is no neutral state. You are either shaping the interaction or being shaped by it. Cutting losses sends a powerful signal. Externally, it communicates non-neediness. Internally, it rebuilds self-respect. Self-respect is not abstract psychology. It directly governs behavior. Behavior determines positioning. Positioning determines income. Those who never cut remain permanently reactive. They manage consequences instead of directing outcomes. The wealthy invert this. They remove misalignment before it metastasizes. This is why the wealthy appear ruthless. Ruthlessness is simply clarity without guilt. Guilt is a social mechanism designed for cohesion, not ascendancy. When misapplied, it enforces compliance. The wealthy experience guilt like anyone else, but they do not allow it to override strategy. Guilt does not produce returns. Cutting is not chaos, it is precision. The wealthy do not burn bridges indiscriminately. They stop crossing bridges that lead nowhere. They do not announce exits. They withdraw quietly and reallocate energy. Silence is cleaner than explanation. Explainer. Son invites debate. Debate introduces doubt. The poor feel compelled to justify every move. The wealthy act and allow outcomes to validate decisions. When cutting is done correctly, results follow. Results end arguments. There is a biological layer to this. Chronic stress fragments cognition. When surrounded by draining commitments, Strategic thinking collapses. Decisions become short-term. Deal quality declines. Vision narrows. Cutting reduces cognitive load. Mental sharpness returns. Sharp minds generate leverage. This is why the wealthy defend their bandwidth aggressively. They avoid endless conversations. They decline meetings without authority. They exit environments where outcomes are undefined. Vagueness signals low power. Anything unclear drains value. Cutting is also how scarcity is maintained. You cannot be scarce if you are diluted. You cannot command premium positioning while being everywhere. Concentration is required. Concentration demands sacrifice. Sacrifice is misunderstood. It is not suffering. It is prioritization under constraint. Low-return inputs are removed to amplify high-return outputs. The wealthy sacrifice popularity to preserve position. They sacrifice volume to increase quality. They sacrifice immediacy to build endurance. Most people reverse this. They sacrifice the future to soothe the present. Cutting reverses the exchange. At some point in every ascent, you must disappoint those who benefited from your former accessibility. This moment is unavoidable. They will say you have changed. They are correct. Change is the objective. If no one is uncomfortable with your evolution, it is insufficient. The wealthy accept misinterpretation. They accept being labeled difficult, distant, or arrogant. Labels are inexpensive. Access is not. They let others keep the labels while they keep the leverage. Another misconception is that cutting requires abundance first. This is false. Abundance is produced by cutting. The moment low-value interactions are removed, higher-value ones become possible. Not guaranteed. Possible. Possibility is enough. Wealth requires optionality, not certainty. Optionality requires room. Room is created through removal. The person who fills every hour, every obligation, every emotional gap has no maneuverability. They cannot wait. They cannot select. They are forced to accept whatever appears next. The wealthy design emptiness intentionally. Empty space is not waste. It is readiness. It allows decisive movement when opportunity emerges. Those who are full cannot accept anything new without collapse. This is why cutting often precedes rapid growth. From the outside, it appears as contraction. In reality, it is compression before expansion. Pressure accumulates, focus sharpens. When the right opportunity arrives, energy is available to seize it fully. Those who never cut remain half committed to everything. Half commitment produces half results. The wealthy commit fully only after eliminating ever. Why thing that dilutes commitment? In Machiavellian terms, power is most visible in refusal. Anyone can say yes. Few can say no. Fewer can say no under pressure. Saying no is expensive in the short term. It costs approval, comfort, and certainty, but it purchases sovereignty. Sovereignty compounds. Once you establish a reputation for walking away, the market adapts. Offers improve. Behavior shifts. Respect increases. Not because it was demanded, but because independence was demonstrated. Independence cannot be simulated. It must be practiced. It is proven through cuts made before comfort exists. Until you are willing to remove what keeps you small, everything else is cosmetic. Wealth is not built by accumulation alone. It is built by removal until what remains is concentrated, scarce, and undeniable. 2026, the posture of the one who sets the price. The coming year will not reward the hardest worker, the most visible creator, or the most skilled executor. These roles are already being compressed by automation, artificial intelligence, global labor arbitrage, and content saturation. Effort is depreciating rapidly. What remains valuable is posture. Posture is how you occupy the system when you do not need to prove anything. The defining advantage in 2026 will not be speed, hustle, or adaptability. It will be the ability to impose terms without urgency. The individual who can wait, who can refuse, who can tolerate silence without panic, will dominate negotiation across economic, social, and psychological arenas. Most misunderstand what it means to set the price. They believe it means charging more. It does not. Setting the price means defining the frame before the offer exists. By the time money enters the conversation, the structure should already favor you. The poor wait for offers. The wealthy create conditions. Conditions determine value before transactions occur. In 2026, value will concentrate around three forces: scarcity, authority, and decision gravity. Scarcity without authority collapses. Authority without scarcity dilutes. Decision gravity, the ability for your judgment to alter outcomes, is what fuses them into wealth. The one who sets the price does not adapt to the market. He forces the market to orient around him. Visibility will continue to lose value. Everyone is visible. Everyone is producing. Noise is infinite. Silence, therefore, becomes dominant. Silence signals leverage. The one who sets the price does not narrate effort. He does not broadcast process. He reveals outcomes selectively. This preserves asymmetry. Asymmetry is power. When people know how you operate, they negotiate against you. When they know only that you deliver, negotiation collapses into acceptance. Information symmetry destroys margins. The wealthy maintain intentional opacity, not secrecy, restraint. Enough disclosure to establish authority. Never enough to become commoditized. This posture requires emotional discipline. You must endure misunderstand. You must tolerate criticism without response. You must allow speculation to circulate unchecked. The impulse to clarify is the impulse to lower position. High-position individuals let narratives drift because they understand that clarity is not owed. The weak chase approval. The strong allow interpretation. Interpretation fuels projection. Projection inflates value. This is why powerful figures appear minimal and controlled, not because they lack warmth, but because excess warmth erodes authority. Authority is built through consistency and restraint. The one who sets the price in 2026 does not overcommit. He does not crowd his calendar to signal relevance. He leaves space deliberately. Space is where leverage resides. When opportunity appears, he moves fully. Those who are overbooked are trapped in momentum they did not choose. Choice is the true indicator of wealth. Money follows those who are not forced to decide under pressure. Pressure collapses intelligence. Calm expands it. The wealthy optimize for calm, not productivity. Productivity generates output. Calm generates judgment. Judgment produces disproportionate returns. This is the transition from labor to strategy. Workers are paid for execution. Strategists are compensated for direction. A single decision can outweigh 10,000 hours of labor, but only when that decision comes from someone whose authority already exists. Authority is never declared. It is accumulated. It emerges through consistency. And behavior, boundaries, pricing, restraint, and silence align. The market reorganizes itself around you. Respect is not requested. It is assumed. The one who sets the price does not fear losing deals. He understands that bad deals are more expensive than no deals. Bad deals corrode positioning. They normalize concession. They teach others to apply pressure. The wealthy defend their frame with precision because once it fractures, restoring it is costly. In 2026, the most dangerous role will be the useful one. Useful individuals are everywhere. They are capable, responsive, flexible, and easily replaced. Usefulness secures employment, not elevation. It keeps you active, not authoritative. The wealthy aim to be decisive rather than useful. They are not required for execution, they are required for resolution. When they enter a situation, uncertainty collapses, direction crystallizes. That clarity is what commands payment, not effort, not availability. Clarity demands distance. Distance produces perspective. Perspective enables judgment. Judgment generates authority. Authority determines price. This is the ladder most never ascend because climbing it requires defying conditioning. You are trained to be agreeable, humble, and responsive. These traits make you likable. They do not make you powerful. The one who sets the price in 2026 is courteous but immovable. He listens without absorbing. He speaks without bargaining. He assists without serving. He participates without belonging. Belonging is hazardous. It binds you to collective norms, and collective norms punish differentiation. Wealth depends on differentiation. Those who seek inclusion inevitably discount themselves to remain accepted. The wealthy treat isolation as a cost of power. Not loneliness, but selective distance. They choose few alliances. They invest deliberately. They avoid crowds. Crowds dilute status. Universal proximity erases mystery. Mystery is not deception. It is incomplete information. Incomplete information sustains attention. It delays closure. Closure extinguishes desire. This is why overexposure is destructive. Once people believe they fully understand you, valuation plateaus or declines. Expansion requires ambiguity. Authority requires limits. The one who sets the price understands that time is not spent, it is allocated. Every interaction is assessed. Does this compound or dilute? Does it preserve scarcity or erode it? Does it elevate position or normalize access? If it does not compound, it is declined. To those who operate emotionally, this posture appears cold. To those who live reactively, it appears arrogant. The system is indifferent to perception. It rewards structure, not intention. In 2026, money will pursue those who do not pursue money. Influence will attach to those who do not seek validation. Opportunity will cluster around those who do not broadcast availability. This is the final inversion. When you stop needing the outcome, you gain control over the process. When you control the process, outcomes multiply. The one who sets the price is not fixated on wealth. He is fixated on sovereignty. Money follows sovereignty because sovereignty is scarce. Most people are governed by fear, urgency, and social pressure. The sovereign individual is not. That difference is immediately felt in cadence, in tone, in refusal, in silence, in calm. Calm is the most expensive signal in an unstable system. As volatility accelerates, calm becomes invaluable. Those who can remain internally unmoved while the environment intensifies will define the next hierarchy. They will not compete on volume. They will not race on speed. They will not negotiate on price. They will impose terms through posture alone. That is what it means to be expensive in 2026. Not loud, not visible, not busy, unavailable to pressure. That posture is what builds wealth.